Hello, good evening, everybody. Right, till last class, we have dealt with the last definition of the last class was about trash racks. I have explained they are the vertical bars which are placed to separate um, debris and waste particles from the water before the water enters into the dam. They are placed at the level of reservoir itself so that the water will not enter into that place, right? Yeah. Coming to the next topic about penstock closed conduit. Right, medium head power plants. Coming to the definition of penstock, I'll just repeat it once again. Closed conduit. Closed conduit means it's like a pipe which conveys water from the reservoir or forebay to the turbine casing. Wherever the turbine casing is there, I mean, till that point, water will be brought with the help of this penstock, which is a closed conduit, which conveys the water from reservoir or forebay. Okay, direct if there is not much long distance between the reservoir and the turbine, then directly only penstock can be kept. If there is a larger distance between reservoir and the turbine, if there is a smaller distance only, then directly you can connect the penstock. If it is a larger distance, then you need to have forebay in between. Then your penstock will be connected from forebay to the this turbine. Penstocks are built of steel or reinforced concrete. As penstocks need to be made up of tough material, so they are made up of steel or reinforced concrete, so that all the time water will be flowing through that. So there will be so they should have good strength to overcome this effect of to overcome the flow of water or whatever the water pressure, the water with which with some pressure will be coming always through the pipe. So in order to face the water hammer effect, or whatever the pressure of water will touch the walls of the penstock, so it should be mechanically strong. So steel penstocks are always welded on longitudinal seam and circumferential seam. So they are welded as they need to be made with perfect material. So even welding also should be done for this. Thickness must be adequate to withstand hydraulic pressures. Yes, I just mentioned that hydraulic pressures will play a major role. So thickness should be adequate to withstand hydraulic pressures. Right. Next, coming to the next part of penstock, medium head power plants require separate penstock. High head power plants main penstock will be divided into sub penstocks at lower end. Means if it is low head power plant, you don't you require only one penstock. Okay, medium head power plants, what it happens is it requires separate penstock. High head power plants, as the head of the water will be as the water will be falling from a heighted place. High head power plants, main penstock will be divided. Whatever the main penstock will be there, it will be divided into sub penstocks at lower end. Okay, why? Because water will come with a huge pressure. So usually what happens is, due to some this hydraulic pressures or due to pressure differences, there may be a chance that your penstock will break just like a log or a wooden piece, how it will break like that. Your penstock, there are chances that your penstock can break in that manner. But so in order to reduce the pressure and in order to divide water properly, so your penstock will be divided into sub penstocks. Example, Srisalem plant has one main penstock and seven sub penstocks. Okay, Srisalem plant has one main penstock and seven sub penstocks. Let us see the construction. I told that they are made up of concrete. They are made up of steel or reinforced concrete. So as here they are showing in diagram, it is made up of a tough material. Okay, this is the penstock which is under construction. Through this only water will pass from forebay to turbine. Right. Next is coming to the top view of the penstock. I mean inside the penstock, I mean alignment or the construction or the shape of the penstock inside will be in this manner. Right, coming to the view of penstock, this is like the front view of the penstock. This is also the end of the penstock, like almost this penstock is coming from some rock. Okay, it is coming from some, I mean, it is like in the form of a tunnel. It is coming out from some rock. So they are showing the end point of the penstock. Like these are the penstocks which are being shown in a powerhouse. Okay, these are the penstocks, means these are the pipes through which water is passing from forebay or the reservoir to the turbine. Okay, right. Next is man inspecting this penstock in powerhouse. Next, coming to the surge tank. Right. So it is a cylindrical open-topped storage reservoir connected to this penstock. Okay, and cylindrical open-top reservoir storage reservoir is connected to the penstock. See, at the top of this, this is a powerhouse. I have already told that, I mean, dam or reservoir, whatever will be there, there will be a top place and powerhouse will be at the bottom or it will be at the down. Okay, it is cylindrical open topped storage reservoir. It is a cylindrical open top storage reservoir where whose end is connected to our penstock. See, there are two penstocks which are passing from this surge tank to the powerhouse. It protects the penstock from excessive pressure caused by water hammer. Okay, water hammering effect will be reduced by using surge tank. Okay, so in the height, I mean the head of the surge tank will be changing based on the pressure in the based on the pressure of the penstock. If suppose more water is required, immediately the penstock draws the water from surge tank. Okay, if at bottom they are trying to stop the power generation or they are trying to reduce the level of water, then immediately the water, I mean more amount of water will get accumulated or stored in surge tank. So at a time pressure will not get focused on the penstock. Okay, even though if you want even though less water is to be drawn or even though more water is to be drawn, only the head of the surge tank will differ, but there won't be any pressure effect. There won't be any difference of pressure effect in there won't be any difference of pressure effect inside the penstock. Why? Because the inside pressure and the outside pressure, if suppose they are not matching, then there is a chance that your penstock might break off. Okay, right. This is spillway. They are on the right side. They have shown a beautiful picture. Okay, spillway. I mean, spillway is just nothing but gate. Okay, spillway means the way in which we are trying to remove the water or spilling, or we are throwing out something is called as spilling, right? Okay, so your spillway. This is like a safety valve for dam. It protects the dam during flood season. Mainly spillway is constructed for the protection of dam itself. Why? Because dam also will have a certain limit of water. If the water exceeds that limit, so it should be spilled out of it. Right, it discharges overflow water to the downstream. Okay, it discharges overflow water to the downstream. This is controlled by metallic gates. Okay, you will have gates for the spillway or shutters for the gates. Okay, whenever the water has reached the maximum level of the dam, then the shutters of these gates or the gates of the spillway will open and the water will come and fall down. Okay, what are prime movers? Water turbine is a prime mover for alternator. Okay, prime mover means the starting component for an alternator is called as prime mover. Water turbine is the prime mover for alternator. Its function is to convert kinetic energy of water into mechanical energy. Pelton wheel, Kaplan, Francis are different types of turbines which are used. Usually, all our hydroelectric power stations use Pelton wheel, Kaplan turbine, and Francis turbine. Right. Next is the on the right side, whatever the photo they have shown, it is about water turbine or prime mover. See, water turbine or prime mover, what it happens is, okay, water flow, water is flowing. These are the blades. I mean, whatever are vertical. Okay, I mean in this shape, in the form of rectangular shape, whatever you are having, uh, that are wicket gates, and the in downside in brown shape, brown no, in light orange shape or light orange color, what you have are turbine blades. Okay, whenever the blades of the turbine rotate, then the turbine the turbine shaft will be connected, will be coupled to the generator shaft, and as this turbine rotates, your generator also gets mechanical energy. As the rotor of, as this shaft is just nothing but the shaft of the rotor in your alternator. As the turbine starts, as the blades of the turbine rotate, so the shaft also rotates, and the rotor of the alternator starts rotating, and in stator, I mean electricity or electrical energy gets produced in the stator. So this is the story, this is the theory about your prime mover. Okay, this is your prime mover. See, the prime mover is a part which you are coupling to your generator. Or write about draft tube. What is draft tube? Means the water flow exits the turbine in the powerhouse through a large outlet called draft tube. Okay, whatever the water, whatever the water which will come out of your turbine means, first the water will come from penstock. I mean the water will come from this forebay or from dam through penstock to turbine. After the turbine, the water should come out. Okay, whenever the, I mean till the end of the pipe, till the end, I mean till the point where it reaches the turbine, the shape of the penstock will be the same. After reaching the turbine or at the outlet of the turbine, what happens to the shape of the tube or to the shape of the penstock is, I mean this penstock, I mean the end part of this the end part of the exit, I mean the end part at the exit where the water should come out, there there the shape of the exit or the shape of your outlet after for the water which is trying to leave through leave after passing through turbine, that shape of the pipe will be enlarged, or you'll have a larger shaped outlet for the water which is leaving from the turbine. Okay, as you are having a large shaped outlet, so this outlet is named as draft tube. See, the water flow exits the turbine. Okay, the water flow after reaching the turbine, after it rotates the blades of the turbine, it should leave or it should exit the turbine in the powerhouse. Okay, this exit is there in the powerhouse itself through a large outlet called as draft tube. Okay, so it should right it should exit through a large outlet which is called as draft tube. It is an expanding tube, it is an expanded tube, it is not a short tube or penstock. Whatever the shape of the penstock is there, with the same shape, the end point will not, I mean your end portion of the penstock also will not be of the same shape. The exit or the end portion of the pipe, okay, or of the penstock will be larger, and it is called as draft tube. It is an expanding tube connecting the outlet passages of a turbine runner. Okay, so it is connecting the outlet passages of a turbine runner. means at the runner or at the end of the turbine, an expanded tube is connected, which is called as draft tube. It exits the tail water to tail race. Okay, whatever this water which is coming out at the end of the turbine is called as tail water. Okay, this tail water should be discharged to a point which is called as tail race. Tail race is, or tail race or tail point, tail pond means at the end, whatever the water which is coming out of the turbine, which is coming out after leaving the turbine, whatever the water which is coming out through draft tube, it should be stored at a place, or it should be it should I mean a small like pond, I mean right, a small area or a small pond should be created, so that it exits the tail water to tail race. Right. It exits the tail water to tail race. Right. Coming to the next point, draft tube. I mean, see here they have shown draft tube. Say draft tube is an enlarged portion which comes at the end where the water leaves the turbine. Means at the exit of the turbine. Right. Constructed with concrete or metal. Yeah, obviously it should also be constructed with a tough material. Tube cross section gradually increases towards outlet. Till the end, cross section of the pipe will be in of one shape, and at the end cross section will be large, means it gets enlarged at the end. Increases work done by the turbine. Why it will be large means easily the water should come out of the turbine. So the end point of the turbine, or so the end point of the pipe is enlarged, so it increases the work done by the turbine. Means whatever the work which is done by the turbine, the work done by the turbine increases because of draft tube. Right. Coming to tail race or tail pond. Right. As they are showing tail race here, water after doing useful work at the turbine, as water from wherever, from after rainfall, from reservoir through forebay to dam, and through surge tank, through penstock, and after that through turbine to powerhouse, and after leaving the turbine and at the exit, I mean at the exit or at the end point from the powerhouse, I mean, almost the water has left the turbine, means almost it has done its useful work. Water after doing useful work at turbine is discharged to lower end in is known as tail race. Okay, it is discharged at lower end. The water is discharged at the lower end and it is called as tail race. Here they have shown tail race. Its level should be as low as possible. Why? Because as water flows easily from high point to low point, or high pressure area to low pressure area, if you create a tail race or tail pond at a low point, then easily the water gets discharged, and the water easily gets discharged. So this tail race or tail pond is constructed at a very low height. Coming to the alternator, typically it is a three-phase 11 kilovolt AC generator. Yeah, all our power plants or all our, generating stations, they produce an electrical output of 11 kilovolts. Okay, right. This 11 kilovolts, this is produced by your AC generator. This AC generator or alternator, which is three-phase and which works at 50 hertz frequency. Usually depending on the speed and depending on the number of poles of the alternator, the speed of the alternator also depends, and you get an output, you get an output of 11 kV. It converts, what this alternator does is it generates three phase 11 kilovolts AC generator. This AC supply only we transmit for long distances. Either it may be single phase supply or three phase supply, whatever the supply may be, or AC, whatever electrical energy we are using, maximum is generated by our generating stations only. So alternator is the only machine which generates AC, uh, AC electricity, alternating current as output. Right. Next is it converts mechanical energy into electrical energy. Your alternator converts mechanical energy into the electrical energy. Mechanical energy to the input of the alternator is given by the turbine whose output is mechanical energy. So it converts mechanical energy into electrical energy. It is driven by a water turbine. Okay, usually alternator's input is given by a water turbine. It is located in the powerhouse. Your turbine and your alternator both are located in the powerhouse. See on the right side, whatever they are showing are alternators. Okay, almost 7 or 8 alternators are there. Okay, right. Right. Till now, whatever we have discussed, I'll just revise the summary. We have discussed about the main requirements of hydroelectric power station. These are the main requirements. These should be there for a hydroelectric power station to operate properly. But the first is catchment area, reservoir, dam, forebay, trash rack, penstock, surge tank, spillways, draft tube, tail race or tail pond. Right. This is the summary of whatever I have taught till now. I mean, all the definitions related to hydroelectric power station are completed. Right. Let us see some other parts of hydroelectric power station which also needs to be discussed. Okay. I will start the next part of the discussion now. Right. On the completion of this topic, you will be able to know about the factors affecting the selection of site, advantages and disadvantages of hydroelectric power station. Right. So if you are planning a hydroelectric power station, right, if you want to build a hydroelectric power station, what are the factors which affect the selection of site? This we have studied even for our thermal power plant also, where we studied that it requires a large area. Okay, and road and rail facilities should be there. Okay, and for fitting the heavy machinery, the ground also should be strong, and you need to have a permanent water resource nearby. These all were the conditions. And even for dumping of ash, okay, ash, and for storage of coal, for everything you need to separate the land, and you need to divide the land into separate sections. Okay, and you need to plan thermal power station accordingly. Similarly, how to plan a hydroelectric power station also, let us understand. Right. On the completion of this, I mean, we need to we I mean, we'll get an idea regarding factors affecting the selection of site, advantages and disadvantages of hydroelectric power station. Okay, these two I will try to try to explain in this class. Selection of site for hydroelectric power station. Right. The first topic is the selection of site for hydroelectric power station. The first point for selection of site is geographical conditions should be favorable. Right, geographical conditions should be favorable means, the area should have water facility. I mean, the flow of water should be properly. I mean, water should be flowing from high pressure area to low pressure area. Okay, and you need to have a large area so that you can plan a dam. Okay, I mean, in and nearby whatever the people who are living, I mean, usually it should be a rural area. Otherwise there will be some houses or people will be living. I mean, they should be vacated. That will be a problem. So first thing, geographical conditions should be favorable. Second is adequate quantity of water should be available. Adequate quantity of water should be available. Why? Because almost it should be a perennial river. I mean, if there is a perennial river only, then you can plan a hydroelectric power station. Why? Because if it is not a perennial river, what happens is, if the water is not available during summer or any other seasons, the construction of dam or whatever the cost you have put in for the dam will become waste. So you need to have adequate quantity of water should be available. Next, required head of water should be available. Not only adequate quantity of water, you need to have required head of water also should be available. Means the head of water, whatever the in dam, whatever I mean, you need to I mean, you need to have some height on till which you need to have water, then only you can generate electricity. If water is if the water which is stored in dam is of a low head, then what happens is, even if the water comes and falls, I mean, if the water comes through penstock, all the procedure occurs and the water comes through penstock also, what happens is, it will not be able to turn or rotate the blades of the turbine. Then again, I mean, whatever the construction which we have done, it will be it will be waste. So first thing is, you need to have adequate amount of water, and required head of water also should be there. Water, not only presence of water, but you need to have, I mean, the dam, in dam you need to have water at some height, then only you can generate power, right? Reservoir should have large catchment area so that level of the water may not fall the below the minimum level. I told that this, if this is dam, before back of the dam you need to have reservoir, means your reservoir should be attached to dam. Back of the reservoir you need to have a large catchment area where you can collect the water very easily. Okay, and that water can be passed to, that water can be passed to reservoir. From reservoir the water can be passed to a dam. So you need to have a large catchment area so that water can be collected easily, and never water will fall below the minimum level. Right. Next is selection of site for hydroelectric power station. Right. When you are taking a site, then what all the factors you need to observe? Like if you are purchasing some land or if you are taking some site, okay, what conditions the site should satisfy? First thing is the land should be cheap. Okay, if you are planning in a costly area, what happens is, I mean, like it should be taken on some lease like purpose, right? So definitely the land, if the land is costly, then definitely, I mean, it will only cost us more. Okay, so the power plant, I mean, the cost, or the cost of the power plant, or the maintenance cost of the power plant will be very high. Next is, the first is the land should be cheap. Second is the land should be rocky in order to withstand the heavy weight of the building and machinery. The land should be rocky means it should be able to bear a lot of strength. Why? Because whatever the alternatives which you are installing, what, either it may be penstock, reservoir, everything will be of, I mean, I mean, these all will be built by civil engineers, right? Everything will be like a reservoir and whatever the dam. Okay, they will be of, I mean, they will be of huge weight. So you need to they need to withstand with heavy weight of building and machinery. So in order to withstand that weight, what you need to do, I mean, you need to select a perfect land, means you need to have a very rocky land. Then only this requirement will be satisfied. Third point is, there should be possibility of stream diversification at the time of construction, right? As on the river directly you can't directly, I mean, nearby to the river or on the river directly you can't come and construct the dam. Okay, till the point where I mean, till the construction of dam, what you need to do is, you need to diversify, or you need to change the direction of stream. At the time of construction you need to change the direction of stream, so that construction of the dam or construction of hydroelectric power station will be done successfully. Okay, next is adequate transportation facility. As I have told that, I mean, a lot of effort will be, should be put in. I mean, next, I mean, for laborers to come and go. Okay, even for machinery, the machinery should come and it should get installed. Not only this, whatever the machine material, okay, whatever you require in construction, okay, that all should be transported, should be supplied at appropriate time, right? So you need to have transportation facility also in a good manner. If you are not having transportation facility, then again it will cost us more. So so we need to ensure that good transportation facility will be is available to that area, right? Next is, these are the points which come for selection of site for hydroelectric power station, right? Next is merits of hydroelectric power station. What are the merits of hydroelectric power station? Means, first thing is, no fuel is required. Okay, hence operating cost is less, as you are not requiring fuel. Means for thermal power station, for nuclear power station, you need to have uranium reserves, or you need to have nuclear reserves. Not only having nuclear reserves, you need to have nuclear material I mean in stock, so that, I mean, as they are base load power plants, always you need to have 2 or 3 months 3 months fuel in your hand. Okay, here no fuel is required, hence operating cost is less. These are the advantages. So as fuel is not there, so no problem of operating cost. Okay, running cost or operating cost, even the this as fuel is not there, even transportation of fuel also will be a big matter. Why? Because coal will be transported by roadways or railways. Okay, so as we are not at all using fuel, or fuel is not required, operating cost is less. The second is more reliable and low maintenance. Okay, right. Maintenance of the hydroelectric power station is very less. Why? Because whatever the machinery which you are using, I mean, it is not associated with any dust, smoke. Okay, it is not causing any type of pollution. It is pollution free. Okay, whatever the labor which you require, also highly skilled labor are not required for us. Okay, so maintenance cost is also less only. Right, more reliable. Right, this is reliable. Why? Because if you are thermal power plant and your nuclear power plant are not working, or I mean they are not able to satisfy the load demand, then definitely this hydroelectric power station will help us in fulfilling the needs during peak load hours. Okay, or if it is like a perennial river, or the water is available throughout there, then you can also plan it for you can also go for you can also go for hydroelectric power station as a base load power plant. Right, next is started and synchronized in few minutes. Okay, you need not to start hours before. Okay, you need not be very planned for this power plant. Okay, you can start and you can synchronize the power plant within few minutes, and easily you can put into operation. You can stop also. Why? Because, I mean, always, all the time water is stored in your reservoir. I mean, your catchment area will have water, your reservoir has water, even your dam also will have optimum level of water. So no need to worry regarding I mean, starting and stopping of the power plant. Okay, no standby losses. Right, and no standby losses means, I mean, losses normally compared to thermal power station. Compared to thermal power station, here losses are less. Why? Because losses, I mean, wastage of heat energy, these all are less in this. Okay, standby losses. Even if you shut down the power plant also, you won't face any difficulty, or you won't face any loss. Okay, right. Next is the coming to the next advantages of hydroelectric power station compared to thermal power station. Definitely, they will have long life. Okay, usually whatever the dams which we have in our country, they are constructed some 30 or 40 years ago. Okay, they are not recent hydroelectric power plants. Okay, so they have a very long life. Okay, acute governing is possible. Acute governing means no need to require a heavy skilled labor, even normal labor, or even less with the, I mean, power plant with less staff also can be operational. You can operate the power plant with a very less staff also. Next is the efficiency is high and fall with age. Okay, the efficiency is also high for this hydroelectric power station compared to our thermal power station. This hydroelectric power station efficiency is uh, um, high. Why? Because there in thermal power station, your boiler, your condenser are giving more and more amount of losses, because of which your thermal power station losses are very high, and your efficiency is very less. Here efficiency is high, and even your efficiency also falls with age. Why? Because due to aging also, your penstocks might get affected, your turbine also, I mean, whatever the working capacity of turbine also might decrease. So based on that, your efficiency also might get reduced on aging. Right. Next is only few experienced persons are required for operation. As I have already told, acute governing is possible. Okay, no need to go all the time throughout the power plant and start investigating or start checking what is happening. Is what is the temperature of boiler? Okay, has it exceeded the maximum temperature? Okay, I mean whether coal is supplied, how ash is taken out, or whether ash is dumped in the ash yard or not. This all, I mean regular governing is not required. Acute governing is possible. Okay, even you, if you govern in some intervals also, or like a bit occasionally also, uh, it will be managed easily, right? Demerits of hydroelectric power station. Coming to the demerits of hydroelectric power station, they depend on monsoons. Hence, power output is not constant. Right. The first disadvantage is our country requires whatever the electrical energy we require, the whole electrical energy, or this cannot supply for our country, for the situations or for the climatic conditions of our country. Hydroelectric power stations cannot act as baseload power plants. Means throughout the year they can't give electrical energy as output throughout the year. Okay, but whatever the need for electricity or whatever the load demand will be there, it will not get reduced. If water is not available, we are not getting electricity, but we can't stop our electrical needs, right? Okay, for our machinery or for domestic purposes or for industrial purposes, whatever may be the purpose, we require electrical energy. Okay, so we can't depend on this power plant as base load power plants. So only thermal and nuclear power plants can act as base load power plants. Right, long transmission lines are required. Right, usually they are in rural areas or in faraway areas where, I mean, usually on hills. Okay, like that where rivers are flowing, there this hydroelectric power station will be planned. So usually at that places, the population in and around will be very less. Okay, usually though there won't be any population. Okay, even though if the population is there, the population available over there over that places will be very less. So it will be again a problem. I mean, whatever the power which is generated there itself, it can't be supplied in a nearby places. Okay, why? Because the existing population or population density at that areas is very less. So we need to have long transmission lines for transmission of power. So what happens for if you are using long transmission line, it will constitute to I square R losses. I square R losses means they will be in the form of heat. Okay, see, whatever the electrical energy you are generating, as you need to transmit it for long distances. What is happening again? You are wasting some electrical energy in the form of loss. Why? Because you need to transport it. There itself you can't utilize. Why? Because there is no huge population to utilize that amount of electrical energy. So you need to transmit this electrical energy whichever is generated. So you need to have long transmission lines. As you need to have long transmission lines, again it will constitute for I square R loss. Okay, so I mean the cost of the transmission also gets added up on the system. Okay, next is you will face I square R loss. So definitely the efficiency will decrease. So this is also one demerit, or this is also one disadvantage of hydroelectric power station. Coming to the third point, which is capital cost is more. Capital cost means I already told that a huge dam will be constructed. You need to construct an artificial reservoir, a dam. You need to plan a catchment area in a perfect manner. Okay, whatever the components which are there in hydroelectric power station, that all should be toughly manufactured or designed. So your capital cost will be very high, or capital cost will be more. As you are planning for a hydroelectric power station, capital cost of the hydroelectric power station will be more. Okay, running cost, you won't have any running cost, but installation cost or this capital cost will be very high. Okay, and it takes a lot of time also. That submerges huge areas. Why? Because as you are diversifying the river during the time of construction, so huge areas will get submerged. Okay, in and around whatever the areas will be there, they will be submerged. Okay, so that will also be counted under demerits of hydroelectric power station. Right. Coming to uproots large population. Okay, uproots large population means as huge areas will get submerged into in that river water. What happens is large population will get affected. Again, I mean, usually what government does is when they are planning for a hydroelectric power station over that place. I mean, if they are constructing dam and they are trying to diversify the water which is flowing through the river, then in and around whatever the villages which are getting affected, they will try to vacate that. They will ask the people who are living over there to vacate the places and shift to new place, or the government will sanction some other place for these people so that they can go over there and stay, and here dam will be constructed properly. Okay, so it uproots large amount of population also. So these are the disadvantages or demerits of hydroelectric power station. Okay, right. And next is in the present class, what all we have discussed is almost I have discussed all the definitions or all the components which are involved in hydroelectric power station, starting starting from catchment area to tail race or tail pond. Right, and next I have discussed about what are the factors which are affecting in the purchase. I mean, what are the factors which should be considered for selection of site. Okay, right. What are the advantages of hydroelectric power station and what are the disadvantages of hydroelectric power station? Okay, for which conditions and for which load conditions? Okay, and for what parameters which power plants should be installed and which power plants will be helpful. I have explained in detail till now. Right, I'll just tell the summary of the last part. Okay, in the last session of this class, we have discussed about factors affecting the selection of site. Whatever the site you are taking, what are the factors which are affecting the selection of site? Next is advantages and disadvantages of hydroelectric power station. Okay, we have discussed about advantages and disadvantages of hydroelectric power station also. Okay, right. This was all which I was planning to teach you today. Okay, right. I think with this, the hydroelectric power plant will get completed. Almost we completed renewable energy sources. We came to non-renewable energy sources. We have studied thermal power plant in detail, and I mean we have studied every component. Okay, working principle, its layout diagram, what are the factors that are affecting uh, factors which are affecting the selection of site for thermal power plant, advantages and disadvantages of thermal power plant. And next, coming to hydroelectric power station, we have discussed the factors we have discussed about each and every component of hydroelectric power station also. Okay, I have told the working principle. Next, factors affecting the selection of site. Okay, and the last was advantages and disadvantages of hydroelectric power station. Right, in next class, we will start with another new power plant. Okay, thank you. Thank you for the session.